In this episode, we're talking about the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by the famous author Robert Kiyosaki. I will be diving into 10 insights from this book that you can take away to help you build your money mindset. So let's dive in. Welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert, and I'm your host today. And we're diving into this transformative book based on personal finance. And this is none other than Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm sure you've heard of it, by Robert Kiyosaki. This is one of my earlier books, the one that I started off my journey when I looked into personal finance and how to grow wealth and build wealth and understand what actually wealth meant. Now, this book has been a game changer, not in just in my life, but most people who are on this journey of abundance. This is one of those classic books that everyone has read. And if you haven't yet, I'm going to give you some insights today. So hopefully that will encourage you to go out there and either read the book through Kindle or hard copy, or even better, go along and listen to a copy on Audible. Okay. So let's jump right in. It's an amazing, amazing book, one of my favorite. And Robert Kiyosaki is one of my favorite authors. All right, so let's jump right into this powerful book. So the first insight that you get from this book is the importance of financial education. When I first read this book, the title itself was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you assume growing up in that middle class, study really hard and grow up to become financially stable mindset that I grew up in also, because I grew up in poverty, remember? You're fed this false notion that you work really hard and you get these amazing grades and you then go on to become financially well-to-do, right? That's not actually true. So this idea that most traditional education systems focus on academic achievements and professional skills, but they often neglect the financial education, as the case was with myself as well. Kiyosaki really stresses that to understand how money works, including investments and taxes and entrepreneurship, is crucial for your financial success. You need to understand these concepts to truly become financially successful. And without this knowledge, it's difficult to make informed financial decisions. Now, in my own life, I know for a fact that I worked extremely hard and I was able to get to a very high level in terms of academic achievements. I became a barrister and then had some other accolades under my belt. But I wasn't financially free. I wasn't financially well-to-do. And even though my income went up, my spending did also. I wasn't financially educated. So this point was really brought home to me quite early on in my journey that I wasn't financially literate. If anything, I was financially illiterate. I was academically and law and whatever else. In that way, in the traditional sense, I was an educated person. But when it came to financial knowledge, I was illiterate. And this became a really hard truth for me to digest. But when I looked at my financial statements, when I looked at my bank balance and my net worth, it was the hard fact. It was the truth. And I had to face it. And the way to change your situation is by accepting the truth and understanding where you are right now. Okay, so this is the first insight that you get from this amazing book. The second one is a mindset shift. So you have to understand the difference between assets and liabilities. One of the core lessons that you get from Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the difference between what is an asset and what is a liability. Rich Dad advises you to acquire assets. Things like real estate, stocks, businesses. This is essential for you to build wealth. On the other hand, liabilities are like cars, loans, credit cards, debt, things that take money out of your pocket. Now, one of the things which really struck me about this book was Robert Kiyosaki says that your house, which I had been led to believe up until that point, was one of my biggest assets. He showed me why it's one of my biggest liabilities. Why? Because my home takes money out of my pocket. with the expectation that at some point in the future I'm going to have capital appreciation and it will become an asset of some sort down the line. But on a day-to-day basis, from a cash flow perspective, my house is a liability. The bigger the house, the bigger the liability. Do you see? I wasn't aware of this point, or I couldn't even grasp the how strong a point this was, how important this was on my journey to understand this. And it's something that changed my mindset around what I classify as an asset and a liability. So this is really, really important for you to understand. So before you embark on this journey of financial abundance, you really have to get a true understanding of what is an asset and what is a liability and treat them accordingly. So one of the questions I get asked is, because I live in a rental accommodation, I have a number of properties, don't get me wrong, I'm in the real estate game as well, but all my properties are used for commercial purposes, either as a buy-to-let or as a holiday let. So all of my properties generate me money, income. I use that money and I supplement a little bit for my other businesses to pay for my rent from my current accommodation. I live in a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood, etc., etc. But I purposely rent because the amount of money that I would need to put down as a deposit and then pay for solicitors' fees and God knows what other fees over a number of years, the return makes no sense, because I could take that same amount of money and put it into multiple different properties and start generating cash flow. And that would enable me to still live in a very nice house. So the idea is for you to understand the difference between having assets and how those assets can pay for your liabilities. So instead of buying a large house, it's better for you to go and take that deposit that I would have to buy, for that house, to go and put that into 10 different houses as smaller ones, get them to cash flow, and using the profit from those to pay for that one accommodation where I live. See what I mean? So you're using, first of all, you understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and then what you're supposed to do is you buy assets, and if they're cash flowing assets, they will help you to pay for your liabilities. Okay, that's insight number 2. Insight number 3, and this is amazing, is what you need to work to learn. Again, something I wish I'd picked up early on when I was first starting my career. I learned this in my late 20s, and I because I picked up the book in my late 20s, I was on a different journey before then. And it really struck me that had I paid more attention to this point, I would have understood how much this would have helped me in my career. I would have been so much further along. So I actually worked for money. And when my younger years, because my mom passed away very, very, very early on, I was still in university when mom passed away. So I had to financially support myself, and living in London and so forth and whatever else. So I had no financial support whatsoever. And I was paying my bills and my education and whatever else. So as soon as I finished my education, I had to get a job to financially support myself. So I never got to the opportunity where I was working just for experience. And even then, I knew how I needed to work for experience, not for money, but obviously for financial reasons, I wasn't able to do that. But reading this book really brought that home, how I intuitively knew in my younger years that I was doing it the wrong way around. I was working for money where I should be working for experience. And I loved how Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. It's about when you go for a particular role, you're not going in that role to the amount of money you make from it. And therefore, you can take a pay cut and work for less money if in that particular role, you're going to acquire skills that can help you forward along in your journey to becoming an entrepreneur, to opening your own business and doing something along the lines which you want to do for yourself. That is key. And I wish I learned that earlier, but I intuitively kind of knew that when I was younger anyway. So I would say that's a great concept, But even to do that, you need to plan for that. So even though I couldn't do this when I was younger, what I could have done was worked with the intention that I need to take take a pay cut in the next couple of years. And so I need to have a large enough savings account that would allow me to go and work for someone for experience rather than pay, and have that buffer zone that allowed me to, supplement my daily income in order to take that pay cut, to have that job, not for money, but for experience. Does it make sense? So you can always plan for this if you have the intention behind it. And I didn't at the time. I just thought, well, I know I need to work, but I need money to survive. And that's why I gave myself the excuse to going working for money rather than actual for experience. Okay. So that's something that I think is absolutely profound. You really need to build diverse skills, and which can open up opportunities for you for financial growth. And not only financial growth, but also personal development. I think when you go and work for different companies, when you work for skills, you acquire so much knowledge and your network with such amazing people, because you're working for a purpose, not just for a paycheck. And that allows you to grow as a person and grow in confidence. It's about investing in yourself and learning how to make money work for you, and while you're working for someone else. So that's the key. That's the key takeaway for number 3. Number 4, the power of corporations. Understanding how corporations work can incredibly be beneficial. Rich Dad emphasizes that you need to take advantage of the leveraging corporations. This includes tax benefits, and I know the tax benefits are probably more so in US than there are in other parts of the world, but we still have them in UK and Europe too, so in Australia as well. So there are always going to be tax advantages for, doing work through a company, through corporations, and also for financial protection. So if you're working through as a solopreneur, as a sole entrepreneur, or as a solopreneur, or self-employed, you are not protected because any of your creditors, anyone can come after you. But if you work through a corporation, then the corporation protects your personal assets, right? And that's key. So by strategically using corporations, you can optimize the financial outcomes, and you can safeguard your assets. So this is key to when you start growing wealth. Okay, next one. How do you overcome fear, right? So the 5th insight that I got from this book was how to overcome fear. Now, we all at some point have some kind of fear about losing money, or that, the fear that, this fear of losing money can hold a lot of people back, and it does hold a lot of people back. Rich Dad teaches us that this fear of losing money, or anything for that matter, this fear is very normal, and it should not stop you from achieving your financial goals, but it needs to be used to calculate risks. So instead of letting this fear paralyze you, you need to use this fear to make sure you're not going into things with blind eyes. You are seeing that something is an opportunity, but there are risks associated with it. And when you are mindful of this fear, you will use this fear to actually make calculated risks. So you'll do calculations. So you'll take calculated risks rather than blindly go into some things. So, and this also can mean that sometimes in the beginning, like I underestimated the risks. And I thought, yeah, I'm estimating it. And I'm an eternal optimist. I always look at things are going to work out. And I never give way to the idea that things may not work out. Early on, quite a lot as well. I still have the habit of thinking that everything's going to work out, but I'm better at calculating risks now. So I mitigate my risks. So learning from failures and understanding that they are part of the journey can ultimately lead to greater financial success. But I'm going to be here to tell you, you are going to fail. You are going to lose money. Anybody who tells you otherwise is just lying to you. I have made so many mistakes in my journey, in my financial journey, leading up to where I am at the moment. if I had let them hold me back and let the shame stop me, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I really believe that I would like to share a story of Michael Jordan, the basketball player. And Michael Jordan is known for the amount of hoops he scored or whatever. And if you look at his history, he also probably holds a history for the amount of hoops he didn't make, right? So he's missed more than he ever made. However, the whole point is the reason why he's a record holder for the most, goals made or hoops or whatever you term, I can't remember the terminology now, is because of the amount of tries he did. So if you don't try, if you don't fail, you won't be able to succeed. So if you let this failure hold you back, that if I try, I may fail, then you will fail at everything. If you try and fail and then learn from what you think is a failure and then try again, you may fail again, but try again, you will eventually start winning and you'll realize that all those times you think you failed were just lessons that you've learned to adjust your behavior to now go and do something in a manner that allows you to be successful. It makes you wiser. I think success is required because otherwise, if you're constantly meeting failures, it's very disheartening and it's very difficult to carry on. So success is important, but I think failure is your biggest teacher because what you think is a failure is actually a lesson, and you need those lessons in order for you to work towards success and then be able to handle the success. So this is key. You need to overcome your fear. And this, I believe, when you learn to understand the fear is natural and you use it for your higher good, for your highest good, for your benefit, that's when things start working in your favor. That's when the magic happens. That's when all these serendipitous moments show up for you when you feel like all your ducks are in a row. You start going from one lead, one opportunity to another. And all those failures that have so-called failures that happened in the past end up being stepping stones for you to achieve where you are right now. And so when you look back in hindsight, you realize every single one of those so-called failures was a stepping stone for you to be where you are right now. Okay, so it's that idea that you can't have fear hold you back. That's a number 5. So let's work on the insight number 6, the rat race. Oh boy, this really hit home for me when I was younger, because when I read about this, I intuitively knew about this aspect as well, and I remember Tony Robbins talked about this, but this book really brought this home to me. And it was when I looked around me, I had all these really smart friends, and they were all working in a 9 to 5. They were stuck in what I would now classify as a rat race. They would go to job, make this amount of money, and then spend it on the home, on the expenses, expensive cars, clothing, and whatnot. And I was just flabbergasted that I was part of it and I was doing the same thing. It's like I woke up one day and everybody around me was still sleeping. And I saw that most people end up getting caught in this never-ending cycle where you earn, spend, and then you earn and spend, and you are stuck in this job that you don't like. It's, the job becomes your security, and you feel like you can't leave your job. You may even dislike your job by now in a few years' time, but you're unable to leave that job because you need the money from that job to pay for your lifestyle, which you kind of bought into, the house, the car, the clothes, the lifestyle. And also the shame of losing that lifestyle that really traps people. I think because of my nature and the way I am, I don't really care what people think about me. I like to take the road well, the road not trodden. So the twisty turvy and interesting roads, as I call them, I like to take that path which is not well known. And therefore, I'm not concerned about people's opinions about me and what I should or shouldn't do. And I'm told I'm stubborn anyway. But I find that by being on my own journey and not conforming to what I should have done based on my education and my academic background, I have achieved far more success in the long run. In the short term, I looked like I was, this highly educated person, but, not earning the kind of money that I should be earning at that time, especially when I decided to have businesses and rather actually going back into employment, rather being a lawyer. And this really hit me home that was vast majority of the people, and even until now, they don't understand the concepts. When I talk about financial freedom, when I talk about being able to go pick up your kids and yourself and going up to the bay for a week or so without much thought, and rather than having to apply for a job, or apply for vacation, I can decide my own terms, notwithstanding that I do have to make sure that things are okay for my businesses. But even in a few years' time, I can have people do the work for me, that I'm able to work remotely. So I came out the rat race pretty early, but the cost was high initially. But now looking back in hindsight, I wouldn't change anything, because over the long run, it allowed me to escape a prison, which vast majority of people are stuck in until retirement. And when they do retire, they realize they've lived their own entire life building someone else's dreams, while they've just wasted theirs, and they can no longer even go and fulfill those dreams because time has passed by. So in order for you to break free, you need to think differently about money. You need to pursue financial independence through investments and passive income. And I would say through businesses. I can't imagine having the financial freedom that I do if I didn't have the multiple businesses I do. I don't believe in putting your eggs in one basket. So I have multiple businesses, and not all of them do well simultaneously, but I do know that I have different avenues to work on if something goes wrong with one of them. And this is key. Yeah. So that's getting out of the rat race. Number 6. Number 7 is mind your own business. Okay. Well, having a job is important. Building your own business or a side hustle is crucial. It can lead to greater financial freedom. It can lead to independence, and it can lead to the confidence in your finances that you won't otherwise have. A lot of people believe that if they have a job, that gives them security. And I always say that's false security, because when you have your own business, you get to determine what's your top line, what's your upper limit. You can make that 100,000 a month, you can make that 1 million a month, you can make that 100 million. It's you get to choose. I'm not saying you're not going to have to work for it. Oh, bloody hell, absolutely you will. Nothing worth getting is worth having for free. So whatever your target, whatever you want to get, you will get, but you will work for it. But if you have your business, you can write your own check, so to speak. Now, when I was working as a lawyer, as a corporate lawyer, I used to get paid a lot. And corporate lawyers still get paid a lot. But I know for a fact that if I was still working as a corporate lawyer, and I'll be what, 15, no, probably about 20 years, qualified now for PQE, 20 years plus PQE, so I'll probably be a partner in a law firm by now. But the kind of money that I would be making in that law firm as a partner, and the amount of hours I'd be doing, and the years that I would have wasted, compared to the income I make and the kind of life I've lived, and I've been a true stay-at-home mom for quite well, majority of the time, especially when my kids were younger, I wouldn't be able to do that, right? So I haven't spent my kids' childhood when I should be with them in the office working my backside off for a boss or a firm, whereas and feeling that I've missed out my kids. Whereas now I have those memories. I spent that. I went to all my kids' sports days and parents' evenings and shows and whatever else they needed me to do. Yeah, I was there. Mummy was always there to take them after school clubs. But I also have the financial freedom to send them to private schools, to send them, give them the kind of lifestyle that I would want to do if I was a lawyer. So I was able to have both, have the time with my kids and build a business, because I worked from home and I worked around my children, but I worked on my business, not for someone else. That's the point I'm bringing home. Yeah. Now, when you understand this, investing time and effort into your own business really allows you to take control of your financial future and potentially create additional streams of income. It really gives you, having your own business really gives you the freedom of choice of what to do with your time. I'm not saying having your business is easier. I'm not saying having a business means you don't work. I'm just saying having a business allows you to choose how you work. When I first started doing my business, when I became a single parent again back in 2017, well, 2016, when I separated and started the divorce process, and I started working in 2017, it was hard work. It was long hours, but I chose to work around my children's time. So I would wake up really early in the morning, do some work in the morning, then take them to school, then do the work, and then I'll pick them up, give them dinner, whatever else, take them to the after school activity where it needs to be done. And then while they did their homework, I would go back to work and I would work late hours. So my day was very long and I did long hours. Yet I chose that because I got to be a full-time mom. And I don't regret that for a second. I was home for them all throughout the time when they needed me. And I don't regret that. But it's because I had my own business, it allowed me to do that. Yeah. That's number 7. And I so totally agree with him. Number 8. Something I really don't like, which is taxes, okay? So taxes and the rich. The rich understand how to utilize tax laws to their advantage. You really need to understand tax laws. By learning about tax and finding legal ways to minimize them, you can significantly impact your financial freedom. And I encourage every single one of you to learn about personal taxes, how you can take advantage of all the loopholes and all the tax breaks you have through corporations and various things. I'm not saying, gosh forbid, I'm not saying do anything illegal, but if there's tax advantages are there, then find them and use them. You know, nobody's going to tell you. You have to work that out. For example, if you want to, I was paying for my life insurance through my personal account, and then I found out I should be doing it through the company. So that was something I realized there's certain other things that I can take a tax break on it, and I did. So I didn't know this. I actively sought out experts in the area to help me understand taxes and navigate through this minefield, literally, and work out how can I be protected and not do anything naughty. I wouldn't do anything naughty anyway, but unintentionally either, and do what needs to be done in a legitimate manner, but also take full advantage of it. Yeah. So that's basically what I've done. So you need to work hard. You need to not work hard. You need to work smart, not hard. That's basically the idea. And you need to seek out support for people who know about taxes. So this is something that you need to educate yourself. And I go out and educate myself about the basics understanding of that concept. And then I seek professionals and experts who can actually help me implement that into my life. So I'm not oblivious to some things. I don't know how to implement it into my life. Then I would seek either accountants or tax lawyers to help me implement it into my life. And that's what I would encourage you to do. Okay. Now, number 9, the importance of taking action. Now, what I've learned is, and this is what I tell all my coaching clients, knowledge alone is useless, right? It's so many people have good ideas. No, so many people have knowledge of certain ideas. It's not knowledge alone that's going to create financial freedom. You have to take action. And action is so crucial. Even when you want, and I've talked about this so many times in the podcast, even if you want to use law of attraction and say, okay, I want to manifest X, Y, and Z into my life, I talk about not working hard. So you're not going to go be a busy bee and not be productive. You need to use, the universal laws in your favor. So therefore, you seek alignment with the energy of whatever you desire, but then you take inspired action. Action is there too. So in anything that you want to achieve in life, you have to take action. Now, Rich Dad emphasized that you must take practical steps based on what you learn. And this is crucial. Start with small investments, seek mentorship, and keep improving your financial literacy. And to make tangible progress. You can't have wishful thinking or do anything. So not learn, just reading the book is enough. It really, Rich Dad and Poor Dad really, the book really emphasizes how you need to take action and take consistent action and start small, start wherever you are. And I think this is a concept that I learned from Tony Robbins as well. You have to start where you are, and you have to start now, because if you don't, you won't be able to build momentum. And this idea that you'll start when you have all your ducks in a row, it means you're never going to start. So start wherever you are, start right now, and start small and start building your way towards whatever goal you're working towards. Okay. So now, insight number 10, and I would definitely say this is my favorite, but I took this as an insight from the book, but this is something that I believe in from right from the beginning. I think personal development has been all about this, which is invest in yourself. For me, personal development is investment in myself. It's about learning about who I am, what I'm capable of, and what I want to achieve, and even getting to know what my desires are. We are bombarded from a young childhood to thinking that we want what other people want for us. We don't know what we want for ourselves, truly ourselves, and therefore we are kind of like, do I want this or do I want that? When you learn to be this amazing individual who's capable of anything, and you truly open up your possibilities, and you truly open up your desires, and you think, I want this. It doesn't matter what it is. So singing, for example, you want to sing, dancing, you want to, you want to be able to play the piano, whatever it may be. When you give yourself permission to truly desire anything and allow yourself to achieve anything, that can only happen when you understand yourself. And in order to understand yourself, you need to invest both time and money in yourself. So continuous self-improvement is key. Investing in courses, books, seminars, and personal development helps you to stay ahead of the game. It helps you to adapt to the changing economic environment. And the more you invest in your own, the better equipped you will be to manage your finances and take advantage of all the opportunities coming in your direction or in your awareness. You need to understand who you are. And the more you invest to develop who you are, the more you can go, the further you can go, the more you can develop. So seeing yourself as your biggest asset and investing in yourself is a key. Okay, so there you have it. 10 key insights from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad that can help to transform your money mindset and set you on a path to really creating true financial success. Remember, it's not that important that you gather information, but it's how you create a life that you desire. So understand these insights to really take the last point home, work out who you are and where you want to go. All these insights are there to help you to go where you want to go, but you need to first work out where you are, who you are, and where you want to go. Not where your society, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father thinks you should go, but where you want to go. Yeah. Thank you for tuning into Money Mindset with Gull Khan. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review and share it with others who you think will benefit from this episode and these insights. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Keep smiling, keep learning, keep building your financial future, and I will see you next time. Take care and bye for now.